Hey guys, welcome to another video. Today we're just gonna have fun with counterfeit mitigation. Obviously, the problem is there, right? But we don't want it to be so big that you want to address every single part out there. And that's not how we approach counterfeit mitigation. We need to break the problem down to a simple, manageable size, right? So if you look at these here, you have a key fob, you have the helmet control board, you have the drone, and you have the Tesla. Each of these manufacturers pick a certain part, commercial off-the-shelf part in their design. So they should only focus on what they design in. They don't have to address the whole world problem, right? And so that's the reason why I want to make this video to educate them that counterfeit mitigation is manageable if you focus only on what you design. And if you work with chipsID, definitely that's the way to go. So let's go ahead and take a look at this one. So what I have here is the key fob, right? Toyota key fob. Everybody's familiar with this one. So if you're curious, don't overcomplicate things. There's only a couple IC in here and maybe even one, and you'll be surprised. So I'm gonna open it up and so you can see what's inside of this key fob. So if I open this up, come over here, and you can see that there's really only one IC for this key fob, right? The rest is just the battery, the transformer, and that's it. So if I catalog this into the database, you now have a reference part for this key fob. So for Toyota, if you're listening, there's really only one IC of the catalog. And for us, the service is $60 per IC to catalog into our database. So at $60 versus the catastrophic failure due to counterfeit, $60 now become a wash, right? It's a very minor expense for proactive counterfeit mitigation. So the next piece I have is this controller board for my son's friend helmet. And this controller board, they just happened to fail. So I'm gonna open it up and see how complicated it is. And again, there's only one IC in this controller board. And that's probably a logic IC that controls the pattern of the LED that goes around his helmet. And so that's the reason why I want to break down the problem for counterfeit mitigation. Does XYS need to care about millions of other parts? Absolutely not, because all they need to care about is the IC that they're using. The life cycle, the availability is that IC. I don't care if the other IC have problem with availability or life cycle. I only care what I design in. So if you break down the problem, it's very manageable. So the next product that we have is a drone from Protocol. And this is going to be for another video. But we're going to do the same thing. We're going to open up, disassemble this drone up, and see how many ICs in there. From the look of it from the outside, I can only see 2 to 3 max. And that makes sense, right? What is a drone is basically as a receiver. It receives command. This is just an RC toy that I got for my son, but it's broken now. So what the IC does is just a voltage regulator and a receiver to receive command from the remote controller, right? It's very basic. And I think that there are a lot of drone startup out there, so I just want to educate them as well. It is best to catalog golden sample during your design phase, right? And these again are COTS part number, commercial off the shelf. This doesn't tie back to your company at all when the COTS parts are in our database. We just need the COTS part number. So let's go ahead and take a look at this Tesla full cell driving board that I've been referring to on LinkedIn. And at the surface, yes, it might look like it has a lot of parts. Granted, it has a lot of resistors, capacitor for filtering. So we don't catalog those because those are not highly targeted commodity. And plus for those, there are a lot of alternate form-fit function, right? You have Vishay, you have Born for resistors, and you have capacitor, you have Chemet, you have AVX, and so forth, right? And for those commodity, there's really no marking as well. So you really have to test them, right? And those are easy to test. ICs are much more complicated. You have to send them out for electrical tests. But I keep on stressing this. When you do send out for electrical tests, you make sure it passes the external and internal visual inspection down to die level to make sure that you have the correct die before you send it out for electrical tests. So we're not saying skipping electrical tests. We're saying you need to have the right silicon, so that way you know what you test, right? Know what you test and test what you know. So let's go ahead and do a quick part count on this. So anything that has a U reference designator would consider that as an IC, right? A Q would be a transistor, and that can be tested as well. But transistor also has silicon inside or the die, so sometimes we do catalog transistors as well. But if you look at this here, for example, let me go ahead and get my tweezer here. So let me show you that these are obviously 4 huge IC here, but if you speak to uniqueness, there's only 1 unique IC, 2 IC that we have to catalog, and maybe these 2 here are the same. So that's 3 unique, 1, 2, 3, and there's 4 right here, and 5 right here on this side, and these are Q again. There's a U right here, so that's 6. But anyway, the idea is that let me give this a worst case estimate. As you can already see, there's no way there's going to be 20 IC on here. These are just the backside. These 2 IC right here are the same. Actually, 3 are the same. So let me just, make a worst assumption is 20 unique IC on here. And moving on to this bigger board, obviously you have 1 unique one right here, 2 here, but these 2 right here are the same, so that's 3. These 2 are the same, so that's 4, 5, so 6. Anyway, again, let me make a rough estimate, okay? As you can see along here, there's not that many if you break it down. So if I split to the back side, same thing, these 2 are repeated, so actually that's 1 unique IC, and maybe some here as well, 1, 2, right here, and these 2. So let me just do a worst assumption for this side. Let me give this one 30 unique ICs, and obviously there shouldn't be that many because a lot of it are controlled by the microcontroller, and the rest are just a voltage regulator and other functionalities. So between the combination of 2, I would say 50 unique IC on here. And that's going back to breaking down a complex problem into a simple problem, right? Only focus on what you need, on what you design in. So that's the idea. And at chipsID, we can catalog 50 unique IC down to a die level in half a day, right? And to show you that, let's go ahead and come over here, and to put that into perspective of what we can do, we here, each of this tray that you see on here, these are the dry pack, which I don't need, but I'm just put on here anyway. Each of these tray are dies that we have already decapsulated. So each tray is about 50 parts. So one tray, I can already cover this entire Tesla full self-driving board. So can you imagine this here is already 500 ICs. Right? Each tray is 50, and I have a stack of 100, 200, 300, 400, 500, 1,000, and 1,500. And I have plenty more. So this is just to show you that if you break down the counterfeit problem, it is manageable. Right? I think this 1,500 here could have covered the entire Tesla Model S. So this board is a Tesla Model S full self-driving board. So they have other ECU electronic control units, such as the airbag, the lighting, the battery management system. But how complicated can those boards be when you have the full self-driving board right here, only using 50 unique ICs? So that's a wrap for this video. I hope that you learned something, and especially for the startup, if you're watching this video, start out right. Start out with the golden sample that you need, so that way you can navigate supply chain disruption in the future, even obsolescence as well. We want to treat every part as if they're obsolete, because just because they have a long life cycle doesn't mean you can obtain the part. You can have a long lead time that forces you to have a production line down, or a temporary redesign as well. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll catch you in the next one.